Morning, guys. We've been focusing on that verse in Philippians 3 verse 12 where Paul says, this one thing I do. And the emphasis for us is on stuff we have to do. Knowing it is great, but doing it is even better. In fact, if you don't know it, if you don't do what you know, then your heart just becomes harder, becomes that much more difficult to do. So the sooner we begin to do what the scripture tells us, the better it is going to be for all of us. This one thing I do. Now, there's a verse in Deuteronomy 6 verse 18 that says this: do what is right and good in the eyes of the Lord. Another thing that we would have to do is doing that which is right. We did that yesterday. And doing what is good. Do good to one another. In Psalm 37 verse 3 it says, trust in the Lord and do good. You see, the problem is that everybody's wanting to be great, that nobody wants to do what is good. And in our endeavor for greatness, we forget all about goodness. I want to suggest to you today about doing good things. If we have a look at the issues around us, we see parents who will leave their kids at home at night and they will say to their kids, okay kids, be good. And that simply means don't be bad. And when the parents come back and the house is still in order and everything is okay, the parents will say, oh, you were very good. And they weren't good, they just weren't bad. And that seems to be the thing about what people as believers are saying. In order to be good, I'm just not going to do bad. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about doing good. Being good means to do something that is good. That's why we have stories that Jesus told about the Good Samaritan. It wasn't the Great Samaritan. In all of our lives, we are endeavoring for greatness. We want to be the great guy. We want to be the great person. We want to be the great leader. We want to be great. But Jesus said, just be good. Being good is good enough. I think being good has had a bad rap. We talk about goody-goodies, people who do good stuff. Well, I got to tell you, I think we need to be more good than we do need to be more great. Jesus, when he spoke about the Good Samaritan, at the end of it, he says, after he's told this amazing story, go and, you remember it? Do likewise. Do good. Now, the purpose of being good is that we can do good. In the end of the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, Paul says that we will all stand before God one day and we will be judged for the things that we have done. And I think about that, and I think about what God is going to say to us. And to those who have done good, he will say this. He will say, well done, good and faithful servant. He's not talking about greatness here. He's talking about goodness. Now, I want to encourage you to do good. Helene will kill me for this, but Helene did something really good yesterday. She went into the shop and it was stinking hot. It was 30 degrees out in the car park and there was a queue half a mile long of people waiting to get their pensions. And she saw all these people standing there to come and get their measly little 350 Rand, and they were trying to get into the shop, and her heart just broke for these people. So she came back and she said to John, and she gave him a whole bunch of money. He says, go down and buy those people water. So they went down and they bought these people, and we've got photographs of these kids giving water out to these people. Now, Helene, that was a good thing to do, baby. Well done. Why don't we do more stuff like that? Do good to one another. Don't just talk to one another. Do good to one another. Because that's what being good is all about. Go and do likewise. Now, if you want to do something that's good, I'm sure there are many things in the context in which you live that are good things to do. But if there are people that want to help me with something, and I'm just going to take a moment. I've been doing this near a year now, so I think I deserve an opportunity to throw a little thing in here. We want to do good as a church. And we are convinced that the greatest challenge of our country is not crime, poverty, HIV, or corona. The greatest challenge of our country is leadership. We're convinced if we could get that one thing right and have leaders with integrity and honesty who will lead this nation well, that we could change this nation from the top down. We're all trying to change it from the down up. We need to change it from the top down. And that means we have to have an emphasis on good leadership. And so we as a church are running what we call a leadership academy, where we choose 10 kids from this community and we spend a year just filling their lives with good stuff and training and experience of becoming leaders. Well, I have about 10 kids that I want to know if anybody wants to do good for. I have 10 kids who want to come on the academy but cannot afford the rates. Now, they're not expensive. We have subsidies from gracious people, but there's still always a shortfall because these kids can't afford it. They have nothing anyway, very many of them. And so I'm asking if anybody wants to do good out there. I'm asking if anybody would like to just help us. We're trying to raise 1,000 Rand per month per kid for 10 months. And I'm really hoping that somebody's going to help us to do good, to help these kids, to help our nation to become good in the world around us. If you want to help, then you can just email me at Helene, Helene, at nsc.za.org. And you can tell me if you want to do good. We'd be delighted to chat to you. But go and do good anyway, you people. And let's turn this world around and let's save the world together. Have a great Friday. It's awesome. Cheers, guys. Bye.